Maine legislature is debating expanding sovereignty rights of Maine's Native American tribes, and that debate now includes new issues, including sports gambling. Hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Costa.
And I'm Amanda Hill. On Tuesday, a legislative committee approved a bill that would expand tribal sovereignty rights. Governor Mills has threatened to veto it and is offering a different plan. News Center Maine's Don Kerrigan is here with more on that story. Don?
Hi, Amanda. Chris, this issue was already complicated, and now it looks like it's going to become even more complicated. Maine's 4 tribes want to have more control over their own destiny and what happens on tribal land. But legislators say Governor Mills apparently doesn't like some parts of that bill, so she is now proposing that lawmakers pass something else. The governor's proposal would still allow tribal businesses to not pay state sales tax on business conducted on tribal land, and would allow tribal members to not pay state income tax rather, on income earned from tribal businesses. It would also require most state agencies to have special liaison offices that the lawyers for the governor and the tribes say would help to reduce conflict between the state and tribal governments.
All of this is intended to avoid disputes, right? It's intended to have everyone communicate better, communicate more thoroughly and more respectfully in order to avoid disputes before they arise.
This is intended to be a first step. This is not intended to be the gold standard. This is what the parties agreed upon. And we're hopeful that it'll be a first step for improving tribal-state communication.
But as discussed today in the committee meeting, the governor's bill would also allow the tribes to engage in mobile sports gambling, something currently illegal. And that could become a central part of the debate, because the proposal now would also allow off-track betting sites in Maine to engage in sports gambling, would allow the Oxford Casino and commercial racetracks in Bangor and at First Track in Cumberland to also engage in sports gambling. No surprise, that aspect of the proposal generated a lot of questions from legislators at today's committee work session. There's still lots of questions not totally answered in that. Interestingly enough, the legislature last year passed a sports gambling bill on its own, but it still needed one more vote because of it needs a decision whether to get funded by the state by the legislature to formally take effect, and still hasn't been signed by the governor. Now, a new sports gambling proposal may complicate all of this. The tribal sovereignty bill, the one that was passed by committee yesterday, is likely to generate plenty of debate on its own in the legislature in the next coming weeks. So Amanda and Chris, we're likely to hear a lot of commotion from Augusta over both of these issues.
We sure are. Don Kerrigan, thank you.